Welcome to our presentation of our full stack website Lovebirds Ready. I am Aljan Angala.
I am Rubian Saraon.
I am David Dato Sarmiento.
I am Christine F. Lopez.
I am Fermin Hipolito.
And we are Group
6. This presentation will
focus
on
the development process of our stack.
After finishing the initial front-end presentation of our website, we opted to continue and finish of what we started. We want to retain the functionality of having a wedding management page, which we have failed to create during the midterms. We also want to improve the testimonies page, where we want a functionality to add a testimony. Although our file system where everything is organized is a good way, having the power of PHP be applied meant some changes be made. These changes will be discussed later on to our presentation. Going into finals, our progress have only been to migrating the HTML files to PHP files and integrating reusability, especially in the navigation menus. We are able to present this, but it is where we are suggested to take in considerations of the following factors. 1. The plain design of the website. 2. The input label looking like a button. And 3. Replacing the guest page to manage page. Upon tackling this within our group, we opted to place a background image on the body of our website, which would fill the negative spaces while sticking to the minimalistic theme we opted. Then for the input label, we made sure to move them more to the bottom and remove the border so as not to distinguish it to a button. We also use icons appropriately, like having a husband and bride icon for the input, and more. Lastly, we have to take in mind the creation of a manage page, which requires us to formulate what would be its contents later on.
For the core functionality of the web, we want our user, which primarily are the wedding manager or the bride couple, themselves to be able to add information about their wedding event.
This requires separate pages such as the wedding details, participants, and testimony. However, for the wedding administrator to be able to manage the wedding, we often to use a wedding key and the password instead of the username and password. This approach allows for a more customized business use case, whereas the wedding account can be logged in by any user who has the credential. We also often to apply file upload through. This is somehow a complex integration for our case. Template and help online provided fast aid to integrate such. Another powerful feature is the ability to share the wedding to participants or anyone who wish to have a privileged access. Such privilege is the ability to add a testimony, but is restricted to modify the delete a testimony.
Before anything else, analyzing the database requirements ensures a great back-end design. In this process, we conceptualize what are the data and process we should record. It is a challenge to think about it, but having gone through the time to think it through. The creation of a table name, role assignments, which contain the fields wedding ID, participant ID, and role ID. This enables us the functionality to assign the same participant on different roles and on different weddings. This is achieved by adding primary key name assignments ID, then adding a unique field which is wedding ID, participant ID, role ID, so as to avoid duplicate for the assignments. And for the testimonies table, we opted to match the testimony data, which is the comment and ratings, to the role assignment ID, which meant that the same participant, even across weddings, can add as much as testimonies, only based on roles assigned to them. For referential integrities, we made sure to turn cascade delete and update while making sure that our business cases are not violated at the same time.
For prior development, we have been enlightened through the video of Udonyx Learning Solutions. The use of a template class meant that front-end web pages does not directly handle the database class or functionality, which we will discuss right after. This meant more security. The template class functions so that it stores database data onto its own array of variables, which named vars, through the method of _toString, which is triggered when the template instance is echoed. We are able to extract these variables passed by the root pages, examples index.php, and then load the template file with these variables, and then output them. This process uses the output buffer, obstart, obgetClean, etc. It is also notable mention prior to the template class of the use case of the SPL autoload register function, pre-built on PHP found on our init.php file. This enables us to lessen the code which abides to the drive principles, do not repeat yourself. Its main functionality is by allowing classes to be instantiated without including the class file beforehand. Instead, it automatically does the work by locating it on the given directory. In our case, are those that are inside the lib folder. The lib folder acts as the storage for all the classes needed for our system.
Aside from the template class, we also had a database class, both of which are stored inside the lib folder. The database class functions as a parent to all other classes like testimonies.php, weddings.php, and more. The database class allows for connection to the database. The method we use is PDO instead of MySQLi, which is not the method suggested in our backend lessons. The key things is that both serves as an API connecting the database and the server, which does not all varies in their implementation. Moreover, the PDO method's advantages is that it can easily be migrated to the other database management system. Moving on, the database class handles the database connection by getting the global variables initiated on the config or config.php and creating the connection in the DB handler variable, then creating the connection in the DB handler variable. Then, we also added core functions like query, bind, execute, getResult, and more to specify more than the function for the child classes to use. We opt to have inheritance here because it simplifies and avoids the disorganized and large accumulation of functions on a single file. The database child classes such as the weddings.php and testimonies.php makes it so that CRUD operations are separated and that custom SQL commands are organized in the context of per table.
Despite the full functionality of our website, we also find some features to be added, modify our design. These are migrating of participants across wedding and roles. Super admin page 2 overlook overall wedding information. Animations of even more robust mobile responsiveness. iUser page for wedding participants themselves, a unique constraint on wedding key.
There are lots of sleepless nights debugging parts of the code, but nonetheless, we managed to pull through last minute. This project has been a challenging task for us, but despite the hardships, we have learned lots of skills and knowledge along the way. These are learning how to use the templating method, the application of OOP subject, the use of PDO instead of MySQLi, organizing of files and folders such as in root, lib, etc., the usage of AI tools whilst prioritizing learning and also productivity, and many more. Thank you. This is Group 6 and thank you for being with us. A special mention to our teacher, Ms. Jonah Estaquio, for being a great teacher guiding us through this course. Thank you, Ma'am.